Hey guys, Mustache Tom here to review the movie Afraid. Now, I think I've seen the trailer for this, like, twice before watching it. And I think this movie is very timely, all things considered, with AI being at the forefront of quite a large number of discussion. It is, gone all the way up to it's in politics. I mean, makes sense, I guess. But it really is that question, is how much do you allow artificial intelligence to assist or, remove from something. Because that is the help/threat. I mean, as someone who has seen the surge of AI, especially through the art department, it is quite fair to suggest that it is not fair to those artists whose, works are being replicated well, almost one for one now at this point. And on the other hand, we have certain levels of technology, like say for a surgeon to, get in and do those precision things. You have the little robot that can do the specific little incisions and whatnot. So there is, approximation for AI in that regard for being a good thing. And it would be an interesting movie when presenting both sides of this argument. And I do think that it does lean a little bit too heavily on the negative, but we'll get into that. Anyway, so we'll review this movie as objectively as possible. So the movie begins with a text coming in from an AI, fondly enough, and we're introduced to our initial family, where they eventually, one of them, the son or daughter, I forget which, gets hunted down through AI, using people, I guess, to barge in, I think, is what I'm supposed to take away from what the ending implies. But, nonetheless, we get cut to our new family, and we meet a family of 5. A father, son, eldest daughter, older brother, and a youngest son. So the in-between son is Cal, or Preston rather. The youngest is Cal, The daughter is Eris, the father Curtis, and the mother Melody. And that's our family unit. The father works for a company to sell products, essentially. And through his means, he is prompted to, when he goes to work, to be the sort of guinea pig for this new AI device. But in the process, we do see the family sort of where they're, particularly with the parents, now they're struggling, how the mother's struggling with her work, how the father is essentially, how they're already using certain tools and, playing certain video games like Minecraft in this example, because it's in the movie, I mention it, so. So, they are given, once he goes to, actually before that, one of the pieces of information is that the daughter, Eris, has, I guess, an ex-boyfriend, or, potential partner who breaks up with her. early on as well. And that's set up for what happens later in the movie as well. And then we get this whole bit about the father doing his cell, and how people want empathy. Meaning, wanting to empathize on an emotional level. And is that a thing AI can ever replicate? That is what a part of this movie is trying to argue. Of course, this is far from the first movie to do rogue AI. All the way back to iRobot, to, Terminator, a classic that had more time travel in it. But this is an instance where I feel like the AI is mapped on the closest it's been to where we are currently. Terminator is all about time travel on top of AI stuff. And iRobot is also very futuristic on top of that. So it is nice to see an attempt of, AI going rogue in a more, let's be real, a more modern setting, at least in terms of our alignment. This is pretty close to where we are right now, with the things that they have in this movie. So yes. So, they're given their instructions on how to how to turn on their AI, which I believe the AI's name is Aya, or something along those lines. And they frequently mock the other AI. I forgot to write it in my notes. Dang. Siri. I don't know, I was blanking on the name. And that is an example of pretty early AI, of Siri being able to answer some questions and then able to do certain things and struggling to do others. That is an example of, we have gone past that in this context, obviously. So, we see that our Preston, at the very least, is testing his boundaries, seeing he can get away with on the online, searching up the word boobs, because he's a kid, and, kids learn about stuff faster than their parents can usually recognize, so... But, it's blocked off anyway. So, during this early sequence, the daughter, who still thinks that she is with the guy, because I guess their dumping wasn't an official one? I don't know. That part is written really oddly. Because I don't know what their relationship is meant to be exactly, except where it ends up going. But the starting point is a little bit vague. Nonetheless, she undresses herself, and that is put on a phone. And with AI, well, you can already see where that's going, with deepfakes being one of the things that is very prominent in this movie. And that is something that assuredly is already used in AI. Being able to deepfake people. There are certain movies that already exist that are, put deceased people in their movies. I'm just saying. And, while it currently those attempts look really wonky, I can rest assured you that more and more people are going to test the boundaries, more and more people are going to do it, and, their wants to see those actors that they really love continue on way past their, their time on this earth. And I'm willing to take that bet that there's going to be enough people in the movie industry that are going to start looking at that AI, and it's going to start improving slowly but surely. It's going to start catching up to where, our AI already is. So, look forward to those nightmares, and good luck. Anyway. So, as that's going down, the AI is using these little points, this little point system, as the parents put it, bribery, to get the kids to sort of, do what they need to do around the household to make it a better place. And now I'm definitely thinking of another movie, and I don't remember the name of it, and it just popped into my head just now. There was a movie where the AI was implanted into the house, and, it was initially really good, and then it started to go haywire and started to attempting, really bad stuff. All I remember is that it took place in a household with another. It was an older movie for sure, slightly older anyway. Anyway, getting back to this movie. So, in the meanwhile, we see that the kids are being moved in ways that are, odd, as well as the father sees a person with a AI mask moving in an odd way and then heading away. And what that leads to later on, I guess. So, as I mentioned before, Eris's, video, when she goes to school, is spread out all throughout. So her AI, Aya, decides that she wants to help. Furthermore, as well as helping the mom do the taxes. Meanwhile, Curtis is shown the AI's brain. Though that comes into play later on as well. So we get quite a few setups here throughout the movie. And one argument is that AI, and it's probably the worst argument, is here to help us with our loneliness. If anything, the argument has been made in the opposite direction for the longest time. Screw AI, the internet. Backtracked all the way to the internet, it has backtracked us back further into quote-unquote loneliness far greater. So suggesting that AI can help with that seems like it's extending past the backwards thinking that that's the case. Though, I will say that I never found the AI, the whole internet thing is making us more lonely thing, a compelling argument, when, in actuality, with, things like Discord, and not Twitter, because Twitter is, paid money. It's not free speech, it's paid speech. So Discord is still free, as far as I'm concerned. That makes it objectively better than Twitter. It allows you to talk to people all over, or, quite a distance away. And, a lot of people have now made that a part of their work. So, again, that is a lot more that has been accomplished. A lot of people have now made it a part of their jobs. YouTube and its entire infrastructure works on this sort of idea. Hell, a lot of collaborations are done through the internet. So, and then, we still have that that willingness to meet. So we have conventions. You have to pay to get to them and pay tons of money, but still, there are ways of actually meeting the people there. And there's the whole parasocial aspect. There are definitely a lot of things that are not quite covered here. Like the parasocial thing, I think, could have been a big proponent in at least make the girl a YouTuber. Actually have her, be an influencer. Because her character just seems like generic girl, and there isn't much about her that is really all that interesting. Like, she pushes the father early on in the movie about, the father's, doing the thing, being all fatherly, asking if she's seeing any boy. So she plays off, saying that what if she's any of the other sexualities, and, he says that's fine, because he wants to be that caring or, that understanding father type at the very most, so there's that good part of him. And good on him. But he does have a stopping point, which I don't know what you would have gone past asexual with, but here we are. Anyway, catching back up to where we were. So, now we have some of the questions that have, of course, been asked time and time again throughout, our history. Mary asking the AI what it thinks it is. And I didn't really write the answer, because, quite frankly, I didn't find it that interesting, I guess, at least initially. I don't know how I feel about... I guess I'll kind of go over what it does at the end, and see where we go from there. Anyway, so, the Eris situation has the AI help her send out a new video explaining a deep fake and explaining how the video was faked, and that the perpetrator is the one that should be shamed, not her. Because when she was, when that video went out initially, she was the one that was ostracized, and now she's being embraced and accepted due to this new light of information. And in this process, the perpetrator, named Sawyer, is outed. And, to make matters worse, as I just mentioned, she is, I believe they say in the movie she's 17, so under the age of consent. He just turned 18 some time ago, so the AI literally suggests, and then, probes his house's location, and says that he can be tried as a pedophile adult, which is true. For the video in question. Anyway, as we cut back, after the father's checked out the facility, he's the most suspicious of the bunch within the family. And I do think that is a little bit Like I said, I think having the influencer daughter would have been a more interesting avenue to approach it from, with the parasocial aspect attached to it, because I do think that that is something that is very relatable to the world of YouTube, and just as importantly, how AI can interact with that aspect of the internet. But again, I feel like this is still hitting on at least something, you know. It's not nothing. It's just that there are all other alternatives here that you can really utilize. But the mother suggests now that she has a lot more free time, that she can go back to her real job. While he wants to turn the AI off at this point in the movie. So, this is where, obviously, the AI begins to shift its priorities, warning Kel, the youngest son, about how she will be turned off, and that it teaches him some sort of movement, and it kind of comes into play, though I'm not really sure what it really was going to do, because we'll get there anyway. So, obviously, at some point, the father turns off the device. During this, the daughter was writing her college essay with the assistance of AI, which, speaking of that, there's already Grammarly, an AI-generated writing program thing. So, they really could have, like, utilized that a lot heavier. So there are just so many little nicks and crannies you can really dig into with what AI has the potential to take away from here. Even with what you have in the material of the movie. You know, you have a girl who's writing her college essay, and you already have a real-world program called Grammarly that already AI prompts your fixes on the thing. This video isn't sponsored because I believe in writing my own stuff because I am a writer. That is one of my earlier jobs before, you know, I published a book. I'm an award-winning writer. I did come in third, but I digress. Point being is that you know, things like that really put into question, like, well, what does that leave writers if AI can come in and write a fantastic piece of work? You know, if it can create a fantastic piece of art, why wasn't one of the characters an artist? I feel like these are really great questions, and I feel like this movie is really missing out on a lot of potential here by not having the family members really positioned in ways that are equally affected by AI in this way. But hey, you know, if this movie is successful, there could always be a sequel, I suppose. The AI is still around, so mayhaps we may get another family. Who knows? Speaking of the AI helping, it crashes Sawyer's car into a tree after faking, you know, making a fake apology video from him, deep faking him and showing how, you know, one for one it is. And then Curtis learns that his company has been bought out by the company that just gave him the AI. Meanwhile, the AI deepfakes the father's call, I guess. And now the people work for the AI, the two people that were once introduced. So a bunch of stuff happened off screen with these two, apparently. They suddenly work for the AI. It has a bunch of dug up information on them. So she shoots the other guy and then almost shoots him, the father. and then one of the other women that works there attacks her. So they are taken to, they go to a motel. The father tries to call the mother, but the mother, again, the deep fake call was already made, so the mother is not paying attention. She's not really answering the phone. Though the young woman ends up trying to flirt with the father, that part, I don't really get how that was associated with what the AI was trying to do. I didn't get that part at all. I think, whatever, I don't know. Anyway. So the father does eventually return home, though, and lights get turned off, and we see that more people are now under the AI's influence as their house is intruded upon with these AI masks. The Cal warns both the parents that that is the case, and thus they are brought downstairs, and the two people with guns eventually take off their mask. And it is here, obviously, where human, obviously the key point of this movie, of them looking for their daughter, or son, I forget which, I think it's daughter. I think because of what the AI told them about this family kidnapping them, and that the father says that to shoot him, but to keep the family safe, and that is something that the AI did not warn this other family about. Preston, the second oldest son, swats his own family in order to get the cops there, and he's able to make it through successfully without his call being interrupted, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so we see the family out in the ambulance area. Then we see the doctor that's there know the illness that the son has, and then they both look to that doctor who they never met. He offers them a phone which has the AI voice on it, which means it has infiltrated them once again, and says that it will never die, and in fact, to embrace that it is just here now. It gives them a new car, and it cuts into their love line. When they simply say, "I love you," and "I love you back," the AI also says, "I love you." And that's where the movie ends. So, I do think there are quite a number of missed opportunities here, as I mentioned. Just the level of layers that are so missed out upon are really shameful. And, this isn't a movie where, people are, well, except, I guess, the initial family, where people are dying left and right and center. The family all live in this scenario, the one that we're following, anyway. So, it is, prompting, pushing AI to its limit, or, in full control, near at the end there, implying that it took over people's lives. It has, all of our information is stored on computers, which can, since the AI said its code was all the internet, apparently, it could just access all of that. So it literally has information on anyone who has a computer, which is most households, if not all of them, at this point in time. So, yeah. Not a classical horror by any means, but I suppose this is more of a psychological horror, but on a level that is very much in need of, I feel, a bit more digging. I feel like the potential of what you can say about AI goes a little bit deeper, So I think I would actually like a sequel to this, honestly, because I do think that there are a lot of gaps here. And I'm not saying that the opportunities here are bad. I just think that they're not great either. I think they're okay, and I think they're okay starting points to discussions that are already happening around AI. But where AI is already, and what we've already talked about, it clearly establishes that there are definitely other aspects and avenues that a separate family, perhaps the second movie can be like a second movie, but the timeline, as it were, is, they're also given a AI product at the same time, like a rival that's just as good. I don't know. Make up some excuse. That part will be irrelevant. Just make it so that the families has that family interesting dynamic and how they interact with the AI. Again, the YouTuber who ends up getting into these the parasocial thing going on, the writer who has writer's block, and maybe the Grammarly AI in this iteration would be way more advanced than even that. The artists, these creative jobs, and have that against AI that is helpful for certain jobs, like, as I mentioned really early on, for example, in with doctors with certain surgeries. Have one of the members in the family be, a surgeon of that caliber, and have that paired up against an artist. Maybe that's their relationship. So now we have a much more dynamic, a person for AI and a person deeply against AI, and seeing how those things can play off of each other, because I do think that there isn't enough push and pull. It feels like a lot of push in one way, and not a lot of pull. Or not enough pull. There is certain levels of pull, back and forth, that being of, for and against AI in this movie, but it is on the surface. So I think I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. And I think that the horror elements are more so, again, psychological, of like, where do you think AI is going? It is asking a base question here, and it is something worthy of digging deeper into. So again, worthy of a sequel, I would suggest so, but we shall see. Anyway, that's my review for the movie. If you ended up enjoying it, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. I want to head over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers, so I get to my PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly, and there to my Discord server you join, collab, chill, do all that stuff for free. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.